This is the Conspiracy Commission Podcast.
And we are back today for another exciting episode of the Conspiracy Commission. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about the Las Vegas shooting. Not one recently, but the one that happened back at the Country Music Festival in 2017. A little sensitive of a topic. We're going to try and, tread lightly, but potentially discover some more interesting facts about a quickly swept under the rug story that, could be potentially something more than just a massacre, where unfortunately 60 people died, 867 wounded, 413 of them by gunfire. So if you know, this guy goes insane. That's
actually one bullet per person. That's more than 800 rounds.
Yeah, he shoot. Oh yeah, actually, yeah. So it'd be more like thousands probably.
If these numbers are correct, I don't want to start picking shit apart.
Only 413 of gunfire.
Okay.
Yeah, I think some of the reports we were hearing was like 800 or 1,000, hundreds of casings in his hotel room. But anyway, so he has like a 10 minute shooting spree.
Yeah, about 10 minutes. Yeah.
Until the police are able to enter the room where they supposedly find Stephen Paddock shot and killed himself with a self-inflicted gunshot wound with a AR-15 to the chest.
Very interesting.
So there's lots of stuff going on here. We also have another theory of why the police may have been slowed down is because they were also covering some high-value targets. We have potential helicopters up in the area at the same time.
Chris, can we bring up the photos?
So there's a lot to discuss. Here.
Bring up the photos in which, let's just try and get to the.
So these are going to be from the Daily News here. If you're following along on the video form of the podcast, if you're just listening, we'll try and describe some of the stuff here. Here we go. Besides pictures of cops running around, which isn't really interesting, I would say the most interesting photos is the hotel room for sure, without a doubt, because it's a fucking scene.
Yes.
It's definitely a scene.
This is the actual crime scene in which they were shooting from the windows. I kind of in
some Las Vegas high roller suite up here.
I say they, but it's
crazy color scheme. We got shiny everything, deep purple, and then there's guns everywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that you see right here. Not a lot of casings or anything on this one. I think is that Stephen Paddock blurred there, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure.
Could be.
Very well could be. Can we get the next one?
Oh, yeah.
There's that hose running from one room to the other. That later on you'll see has had some sort of snorkel or something stuck into the hose and then taped.
This is the same room, right? It's just from the opposite.
Yeah. So now what we were looking at is to our back.
Here.
Yeah, is to our back now. Allegedly.
Is this like the joining doors?
I think that's John, these are all AR-15s. If you're looking at these,
can we zoom in a little bit so John can get a better shot here?
It looks like they are all AR-15s. I don't see anything.
Those banana clips there, bud, or extended clips.
Some of those are extended, but yeah, there's definitely those are extended rounds.
Those are all modified ammunition.
Yeah.
Magazine.
We have the hose going through here too. This was.
Are these full right here?
Those are loaded.
Yeah, those are loaded. Yep.
They look like they're loaded. Yeah.
That's crazy. What is that? A table? Are those seats? What is that?
The one on the right's a table.
Is that a seat?
It's it's indented. It's almost
is that like a table with something was supposed to be on top of it, but now it's on the floor? Maybe
it's like it looks like a cooler to me.
It does kind of look like a bathtub or like a bar, like a little mini bar thing. Like you fill it with ice, put your drinks in.
We'll see the next.
I'm not a high roller. I don't understand.
Yeah, we're folks. No high rollers here.
Yeah, please.
This is another room with the window blown out. I would imagine that this was the room that he bought last. Because the room he was originally in, he bought first. And the room next to him, he used his girlfriend's name to get. I don't know if he used...
These look like they had fucking bipods on them.
Yeah, so where's he setting up the bipod here, John, when he's shooting?
Well,
he's on the floor with all the glass.
He would have to be. Yeah, he's either that or on the bed.
Then how does he even get like an angled shot up on the people? Dude?
That's why it could be the bed.
Okay,
But then
bed.
again, the bed bounces, and he's not looking for accuracy, if that's the case.
Interesting.
This is from down the hallway there, where you had the camera set up over here on that cart there. To
Another
your right,
strategic
see that
part
cart
is-
right there underneath that plate right there? Yep, he had a camera there.
Is this his room?
No, straight ahead.
Yeah.
That's his room.
Yeah, that's his room.
And
I know
there's-
you're right. That room next to him, he also bought too.
Yeah.
And then
Okay, so yeah,
he's got
they're
the
joined
stairs
right
right,
here.
there.
Yep.
That door was
I-
locked, right? He like barred it or
I
something.
think we should take a moment to talk about Stephen Paddock in general.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because we need to make our audience understand who we're dealing with.
For Sheezy. Could we hit the Wikipedias?
Right, because I guess you're looking at his room scene right now, and you might think he's some like I don't know, drug lord or something. Like fucking, who else is gonna have all these guns?
militant monster?
I mean, he's putting cameras in the hallway and stuff. He's
It's like a
you know, I
commando
mean,
or something,
yeah.
some CIA
Like
type agent. dude.
a well-trained monster, you know.
Well thought out plan.
Yeah.
They
No,
sure picked a
it's-
rough
it's this-
picture, dude.
Yeah, it's this bald-headed fucking.
Dude, my forehead's been looking like that since I've been 17. That's why I look so good with a hat on.
Fuck, man.
So people, you
Take
got to
it
understand,
off.
just real quick, that Stephen Paddock was just a ordinary guy that liked to gamble. He liked to gamble, and
He loved to sell houses. He was really good at real
yeah,
estate.
he's from the Midwest, from
He
Iowa.
was born in
and-
Iowa.
And, you know, he enjoyed being in Vegas and gamble. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy had
Enjoyed the
no
Vegas
history
lifestyle, for
of
sure.
military training. He had no history of, I mean, he shot weapons, but it wasn't to the extent that you would think for a guy that did what he did.
No, that's
all
what
right?
Ed was saying. He's like he doesn't really go out to the range that much.
No.
But he
I mean,
has.
so he
but
has
he's
a
been
house.
buying guns since the 80s.
So he has a house in Vegas near the area, an hour away from where this had transpired. And from what the locals have said in interviews and things and such, they talked about how they never seen him at the range or even any of these makeshift ranges, because apparently they have makeshift ranges in the desert that a lot of people like
Yep.
to go to. Well, you don't have to spend your money, and probably some guys go there and pick up the old casings, bring them home, make them into new bullets and things of that nature, you know, just out there in the desert doing your thing. You know, if you're from that area and you shoot a gun and you don't like to pay at the range, then there's people that are going to be in this area that are going to know you, that go to these places that only the locals would be at. And there are reports that they've never seen this guy ever at the range firing anything. I'd also like to point out that every time he ever was in any of the footage coming to the hotel, he's always had someone else bringing up the carts for him. He's never doing it himself. You never see him really carrying anything or a huge bag in his hand or anything like that. The point I'm trying to make here is he's not very athletic, and I'd also love to point out that the day he was shot and killed by alleged his own bullet, he was 65 years old.
So yeah, some 65-year-old man's running around doing all this crazy shit.
Sun Valley.
And let's not forget the motive, supposedly. The motive was that he was in debt, disgruntled, and was angry.
You know, and then you read reports that his girlfriend broke up with him. He was down and depressed. Apparently he was sick. I didn't really get like physically sick or mentally sick. I didn't get any of that direct information from all of the things I tried to read. But I did see that, you know, they said that he was a high roller. His brother also in interviews also made the claim that there's no way that they don't know him. Like, he was under the impression that all of these places in the area, they know his brother. He's a high roller. And apparently he was stating that, or somebody said that there were other high rollers, and he didn't like the way the high rollers were being treated at this casino.
So that's what
That's a speculation.
pushes him over the edge to plan out this fucking.
Or it's what
5-day
what
fiasco.
John was stating, that look, either way, no matter which one you pick and choose,
The
dude,
motive's just weird, man.
it
Doesn't
just
make
doesn't
sense.
line up with why you would then turn around, be buying guns since 1984. The year before it happens, you bought 33 guns. In that 12-month period, they were all assault rifles. They all had bump stocks on them, extended clips. To my knowledge, that's a lot of money worth of guns. That's a lot of money worth of 5.56 rounds of ammunition.
Absolutely.
I don't know how much.
If you love to gamble, just saying, people I've talked to that love to gamble, they don't use money on buying guns and other things. They use their money to gamble. If they have a habit like that, they're not going out of their way to buy 33 guns. They're going to take the money that they have, the extra money, and they're going to gamble. So right there in itself, you have to really, was he that upset that he decides to go out and get 33 weapons and not use that money to gamble?
And then I couldn't find this anywhere either, but there was stated that his brother makes this statement. Not, this isn't coming from me. This is coming from his brother in an interview after said incident transpires. And his brother says that he heard others come back to him and say that his brother transferred and wired $100,000 into the girlfriend's account before the incident transpired or something along those lines.
He books a room with her, right? But then he buys her a ticket to the Philippines or Thailand or something and sends her away, right?
Mm-hmm.
They get there together, then he sends her away. I don't remember.
Yeah,
exactly.
that was part of it, I believe.
Which was just very odd.
I don't know if that's a correlation or if that was just their relationship prior to years before. I know that he went on a bunch of trips. I know they went to Thailand. I know he went on a ton of cruises, because that's what his passport states. I didn't really look at the dates.
I remember specifically, dude, like the news talking about the girl, like the 2 days after it happened, right? And wondering, like, because I think
And she does get an interview. I can't remember who interviewed her, but
she was there with him at the beginning of their fucking stay or whatever, and then she ends up going off to Thailand. Yeah, then later the next day it was, he wired her the money, and then she was definitely a part of it. Yeah. And people were like theorizing that she was in the room helping him because there's no way the old man's doing fucking 70-foot dashes every time he needs to go grab another fucking weapon, running into the other fucking room.
It's like, who?
You know what? Maybe that's what his tube was for, right? He was just pumping himself with like straight O2, like oxygen, right? Just giving himself some boost, dude. That a 65-year-old needs to be able to lug all that fucking equipment across everywhere.
A 65-year-old, it's not like he's like a grandpa, but
you've seen 65-year-olds on oxygen tanks before, though. At least one, dude. You know what I mean?
But
come on.
I've seen 65-year-olds that can still.
Look, bro, we're not talking about your neighbor Bubba,
bit.
all right? We're not talking about Bubba who does the fucking runs every day at 60 whatever years old, all right? That was Stephen Paddock was definitely not Bubba.
No, he's not. No, Bubba's was like 80.
Yeah, even crazier shit.
But I'm just saying, like, you're still mobile. You're not like fucking. Oh, I gotta slow walk to the next room,
Shit, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's hard. It would be harder for most 60. You're definitely starting to lose mobility, right? I'm saying most.
I mean, it's definitely difficult for sure. Yeah,
for sure.
But how many times are they running back and forth? That's the.
Yeah, for sure they're not doing
shooting 5.56 rounds, bro. That's a workout.
Yeah, you
dude.
bang out a 60 clip, bro, and you're like, all right, time to go jog 70 feet to grab the next one.
No way,
I'm just
dude.
saying,
dude. You're not running back and forth, bro.
Not
bro,
with the gun.
this is a classic case of having to reproduce
Drop the gun.
it. When they tried to reproduce that gun. And how many times that gun fired for the JFK, bro? They couldn't get it. They couldn't do it. Like, you shot yourself in the foot by saying what you said because it's not lining up. Like, a marksman with the rifle couldn't do it. So it was like, that's crazy. Like, I would love to see what it would entail for someone to run the distance,
right? Like they try and get like a Navy SEAL to recreate it, right? And he's not able to do it. That would be
very interesting.
They'd be like, okay, for sure. For like a 65-year-old,
how winded he would be running back and forth, And you'd have to have these guns piled up by the window, right? I mean, it would have to be perfect.
But it was a mess. The fucking room's a mess. There's guns everywhere in both different rooms. They're fucking. There was no like organization.
Was he just flinging them? Get out of here!
I saw some magazines stacked up. That was the only bit of organization, dude.
That's the other part of it, though, right? Is was he aiming? Do you think he was like actually aiming, or is he just fucking?
Some of the rifles had scopes. Some of them had holographic little sights. Some of them had nothing. Like,
Some of them had the little bipods. Right? They weren't tripods. They were bipods. At the end, they had two.
You know what else?
I don't know. It's like I've
seen on
seen
the Wikipedia too. If we were scrolling down, I thought this was interesting. Right, his dad appearing on the FBI's most wanted list.
Yeah, he was a bank robber. It
A
says
bank
right
robber. His dad.
He was arrested.
The
in
most
60s.
wanted list. Click it. Let's click it. Let's see.
All right,
Let's
we're
let's
going
click
on a
it.
tangent now, dude.
No, I just want to see. I just want to see.
Is this
That's all.
Benjamin? That's not Benjamin.
Who's that?
It's
Leslie.
Rogue, whatever his name is.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Nice tangent.
Decent.
Thanks.
Now we were
Thanks,
looking.
Eddie.
We were looking at his jobs, right? And he has worked with the U.S. government before.
Yeah.
He was
Defense contractor.
U.S. Postal Service from 75 to
Yeah.
78.
Then the defense.
IRS, what a scumbag, dude.
Yeah. And then
Until
Lockheed
1984.
Martin.
He learned all the secrets, dude.
That's
And
a
then
big
look.
That's
name.
exactly what happened,
Big
dude.
name, Lockheed Martin.
Booyah.
Lockheed Martin, dude. There it is. Hook, line, and sinker, bud. There it is. There's the cause, reaction, solution. There it is. Lockheed Martin. What was he doing at Lockheed, dude?
Now, is it a
He was
coincidence?
known to have. What was he doing at Lockheed though? What's it say?
That's what I'm saying. Is it a coincidence that Lockheed was the last job he had, and then he goes real estate business, bam, $2 million?
For a company that later merged with Lockheed Martin. That's what he was a. What was he again?
I don't know.
An
I just
He
know
was
it
an
says
accountant.
He's an audit.
He was
He
an
audited?
accountant. Yeah. He was an accountant, and he also did real estate.
Mm.
That was his two main.
His real estate was ranking him in 500K in annual income.
And the dude loved to
211
gamble, bro.
Or 2011.
The dude loved to gamble. Who doesn't like gambling? If you got it to lose.
$6 million total on
If
his
you got
sale
it to lose.
from his
I
apartment
don't
complex.
have it to
profits
lose.
from it still. Yeah.
I
Insane.
don't have it to lose.
High stakes gambler.
He's a high stakes.
High stakes.
High roller, baby. He's a high roller, baby. In the high rolling business. You know what I mean?
So, I mean, other than that, his dad being on FBI wanted list.
Well, I mean, the
him
Lockheed
working
Martin
with
really
Lockheed
jumping
Martin.
out for me. You know? I mean, if I had to say something about it, Lockheed Martin thing.
Fake news.
I forget which
interesting.
podcast I was
I
listening
know
to.
a
but
lot
they-
of great people. I
They were trying to draw a connection to him, like working with CIA.
You don't know anyone at
and like
Lockheed.
running guns for them, or trying to be like a gun salesman for them, and that's why
They're very religious people at Lockheed
that's why he was
Martin.
buying so many and flying around to all the
They
fucking
love to
different places.
sacrifice. Allegedly.
So, people, I want you to understand something when you listen to us. It takes a lot of courage just to point a weapon at somebody. It really does. And it really gets your adrenaline pumping, and it's really not something easy to do. So what we're talking about here is Stephen Paddock, a guy who 65, who has no history of any kind
Agile.
of law enforcement,
I mean,
any
he-
kind of
Nothing on the
military
books,
training.
yeah.
I mean, he never even
Nothing.
ran up steps.
So we're gonna tell you that, okay, this guy who got angry, had some issues with his girlfriend, blah blah blah,
Who doesn't?
I
decides
can get
to
into that.
buy 33 guns, bring all these guns up to the 32nd floor
damn
in the
32nd.
MGM, and then decides to just
Buy 33 weapons a year before.
yeah, right, and then just
Take 'em
fire
to the
down on a
32nd floor.
festival, not knowing any of the people or anything, and decides to just unload. All right, 65, jumping from room to room, knocking everybody out. Because, that's what everybody does when they're just,
I unload every morning.
yeah, because, we get angry with
Into
our
my toilet.
girlfriends, and then we just go and, because we owe people some money.
I viciously attack myself every
Yeah, so we're going to take our time here and kind of give you the feedback of the motives that we believe really fall in line with this, and we're going to give you some of our thoughts and opinions on what we believe actually went down. And I would like to start. I'm going to say
very
that.
interested to hear John's side.
All right. So
He's got the best tangent side story for it, and yeah.
back in 2017, right after this happened, I had just I was on the process of getting a new job, and Tom Petty, somebody I really liked, he had passed away at that time. A lot of stuff moving and all that, but then this goes down, and I had been going I was living in San Diego at the time, and I had been going in and out of Las Vegas all the time, right? And I'd even stayed at this hotel. And so I was very interested when this happened. So started doing a bunch of research on this because it just blew my mind that this guy, and keep in mind, people, I spent 20 years in the military. I've shot a lot of weapons. I shot annually at ranges. I've been around weapons a lot. So when I first heard this story, I was like blown away. I was like, this guy, 65 years old, carried 33 guns up there. He's got them spread out all over the room. I mean, he doesn't have them in one location near the windows.
No.
He doesn't have them on one side of the windows and the other side of the windows. These weapons are everywhere in this room, okay? So that's the first thing that just blew my mind. The second thing was these windows that are in this hotel.
Thank you. Yes.
They are triple, quadruple paned. They have
They're hurricane-resistant windows.
They're hurricane-resistant windows.
You can throw 2x4s at them at
Right.
like 60, 80 miles an hour, and they don't break.
And this 65-year-old,
And he's got a little
took a little
Harbor
bitty
Freight
Harbor
fucking
Freight hammer,
sledge, yeah.
and he's able to break these windows out.
Handheld,
Right.
not even two-handed.
All right. Okay. Without anybody hearing, listen. If you do some research on this, people, you're going to realize that they're saying that these windows were knocked out before he even shot any rounds. Okay, that is in there, and don't take my word for it. Go do your own studying. It's in there. They said that he didn't shoot these windows out. He broke them with hammers. Okay, so keep that in mind. Yet nobody heard that. Okay, nobody heard that. Right?
Nobody's banging.
No, nothing. Okay, and you're breaking multiple panes of window.
Glass.
Yeah,
Hey,
glass.
Chris, can you bring up that little video that I put of basically the entire 5 to 7 days of the YouTube video of him bringing in?
Yeah, we'll show you a short clip here,
Bringing in
people,
all
of
the bags.
what they have in the news.
This is all the, and dude keeps count of all the different times the video footage of him coming in and out is. Big shout out to this dude on his
The
channel.
Las Vegas gunman in the days before his mass shooting. He cuts
This
a
dude in
lonesome
his
figure
channel.
as he moves through the
The
Mandalay
New York
Bay
Times.
Hotel, playing video poker for
Don't
hours in the
copyright us,
casino,
please.
buying snacks at a newsstand, watching a LeBron James interview in a restaurant, and at times chatting with hotel staff. But this
Standing
picture
on
He's
of
one
a
leg,
dude?
gambler
Did you see that?
disguises a
Yeah,
problem
these
with
are all
the
my
industry.
guns.
He doesn't have a bag with him. Just watch. Like
He was standing on one leg. That's all I'm saying. Pretty agile.
Through this previously unseen footage, we'll show how Paddock methodically planned his attack, and how, over 7 days, hotel staff unwittingly helped him to move bag after bag of weapons to his room. The
Keep in
videos,
mind, people, these
obtained
weapons will be
exclusively by
broke
the
down
New York
into two
Times
pieces.
From MGM Resorts, begin
It's
on
not like a
Monday,
fucking
September
gun, it's just
25th.
with the barrel sticking out of the suitcase.
At the VIP counter, he checks into a suite on the 32nd floor and books an adjoining room, which he will check into 4 days later. He doesn't immediately bring in suitcases. Instead, he spends 2 hours in the hotel, going to his room and eating at a sushi restaurant downstairs.
sushi.
Just before 5 p.m., he drives his Chrysler Pacifica minivan to the valet area, where a bellman loads the luggage cart with 5 suitcases.
That's a rich
Paddock
man's car.
asks to stay with his luggage, so the bellman brings him through the service elevators to his room, something hotel management say is not unusual. Paddock spends the next 4 hours in his room, and at 9:40 that night, he leaves the hotel, bringing 2 suitcases.
I mean, so he never
with
left
him.
his suitcases.
He
like,
drives 1 hour
unattended.
to Mesquite, where he lived. Cell phone records show that he stays the night and spends most of Tuesday here. Around 8 p.m., Paddock returns to Las Vegas, but he stops at the Ogden, a downtown condominium complex. This is interesting for a few reasons. Paddock was also renting rooms here for the entire week. He checked in the previous Friday, when a music event called the Life is Beautiful Festival was being held in the surrounding streets. Internet records recovered by the police show that he searched for that festival's lineup and its expected attendance. This was similar to his research of the Mandalay and the Route 91 Harvest Festival, which he would later attack. So, the Ogden and the Life is Beautiful Festival.
Pause.
Yeah, but that means that he was planning on us getting away with this.
No. Before. So it's like maybe he tried to scope that one out and shoot out that festival, but he decided against it.
Man,
It's
Decided
like what
not to
they're
do
is
that
what they're
one.
trying to say, right? So I mean, it depends kind of where you stand on this, right? Like you can see it from two different angles, right? This is either like
really, the main question is why the fuck did he have so many rooms rented?
Yeah,
And this for the same week.
Fucking weird.
Yeah.
Weird, right?
And no one was staying in any of these rooms except him,
Doesn't his girl shows
Supposedly.
up, right?
allegedly.
Or maybe
It's not add. It's just that. That's just crazy. Go on, go father.
Yeah, but so that kind of like puts it in favor that
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, dude.
he was up.
well
to
that he
something
was
sketchy.
planning a massacre, right?
Yeah,
Or it's just it's just the padding to the story to try and make it more.
Or it's just fucking
believable.
setting the stage for you to be fucking scrambled egg right now.
Yeah, right. They're trying to like make
Because
him
what the
make him a
fuck
good patsy
Down
you
the
know what I mean?
way,
Never bring 5 bags on vacation. Okay.
clearly. Write
Or
that
then
down.
right because he
Write
goes
that
up
down.
and down a couple times.
That's
More
So
20
let me ask you
21
guys a
bags.
question.
21 bags.
He rents rooms at the Ogden.
Mhm.
He rents room at the Mandolin Bay, right?
2. And
Two.
1 in his name and 1 in the lady's name.
And he goes home in Mesquite and spends the night over there.
Yep. And buys a rifle out there too.
What's all that about?
Right. So what did he go home for?
Weird,
If he
right?
had-
Is
if he
he
had all
grabbing
these
more
rooms.
weapons? Is he fucking? What is he doing?
I don't know, guys in the comments. What do you think he went home for? And it's not even his real home. I mean, Mesquite is just an area where he owned that house. He owned that house. He owned a bunch of houses. He owned a fucking apartment building. He owned all type of shit.
I mean, maybe he was worried about being in that room with all
But
the
he
guns.
left 6 suitcases. I mean, that,
Right, like he doesn't trust the
5,
bellboy
6
to
suitcases.
fucking leave him up there, right? But he's like, oh, dude, surely room
I'm
service isn't gonna check on my shit or
leave all
anything.
my guns in the room, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home, sleep good. I'm gonna eat at sushi bar. I'm gonna
Yeah,
and I'm
well,
gonna
if
go
they're
over to the
gonna-
Ogden.
If they're gonna find him, right? You don't want to be there.
All right, but I mean,
It's in your name though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's
So-
attached to you anyway. Why would
So
you
you leave all
go
these
home?
guns in the room overnight. You know they're gonna maybe come in and clean your room, right?
Right.
Oh my god. Oh
Unless
my.
you put the do not disturb thing.
Oh
on
my.
your-
Oh my god. He comes back, and when he comes back, they kill him. Are you kidding me?
Who kills him?
The
Yeah,
people that
yeah,
set them
yeah,
up.
we this is what we're not. This is what we're not getting.
Because so
I mean,
what-
and
'cause
here's
eventually-
here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right? The hook, line, and sinker, right? Is what? The 2 dudes in the hallway.
Yeah.
So there's no fucking way. He's the one who did it, right? So those 2 guys who are left, the guy who gets shot and then the other guy who was coming up, right? That know that he was in the room when the shots get fired out of the room. It's still how did whoever did what get out of there without anybody knowing?
True.
If alleged.
So-
this is
so-
all this
Yeah.
is all like just
That's
from
where
us
I think
from us
the
just thinking
service
about this.
elevator plays an important role in this whole thing,
Okay.
right? Because I mean,
There's
yeah,
camera footage of it though.
there is, but
It could be covered up.
I mean, let's just keep going. and
Yeah,
I'll
Who's
tell
to
you.
say he
Yeah.
wasn't in one of the bags? I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I like where
There
you're
was
going
actually
there, though.
contortionist agents inside the bag.
Contortionist.
Yeah. We're gonna need to see the lineup of the actual, luggage and suitcases.
Yo, isn't the MGM where Tupac got shot and killed at?
No, but it wasn't far from there. He was on the streets.
I thought the fight was at the MGM Grand.
He left there, but he was on the street
Oh,
at a street corner when he got killed.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. He was at a light, right?
A light, yeah.
Okay. Roll that beautiful conspiracy footage.
Could have been used for planning, or may
Alleged.
even have been a target. Later Tuesday night, Paddock returns to the Mandalay, and a different bellman helps him to move 7 more suitcases to his suite.
So we're up to 12 total
Again,
now.
he uses the service elevator. He tips the bellman, who had no way of knowing these cases were packed with guns and ammunition.
Pause. I mean, they're gonna be pretty heavy though, right? I mean, I guess you just assume it's a heavy suitcase, but like, really, who has that much fucking clothes and shit? That's like,
Right.
Okay, I want to just give
Or
my
maybe
2
he
cents,
thought
if I
about
may.
that, right?
Guns are made out of metal and plastic, right? So if you break a gun apart, an AR-15, you usually have the front of the gun and the back of the gun, the stock of the gun, and then the receiver, right?
Yeah.
So when you put that many guns in a suitcase,
Yeah.
there's gonna be a lot of noise being made. Okay,
Right, because it's not like there's styrofoam all up in the
Yeah,
room where he
yeah.
was pulling these things out of like cases.
right. And if
that
you
were
are
keeping
covering them,
quiet.
each one of them up, you're just gonna make that suitcase 10 times heavier.
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna try to keep them quiet, I mean, I'm not saying it's not impossible, but what I am saying is, if I'm a bellboy, and unless he's tipping me really, really good to keep my,
That's what I think.
keep
like,
hearing
could've
$100
been
bill.
That's what I'm saying. If he's tipping you $100 bill, dude, or like, or he's just like he's flashing it like.
But
he's got
I'm picking these damn things up, and I'm saying, oh my gosh, man, these things are outrageously heavy.
I know, and
What else
you're,
you
and
got
you're
in
sitting
here?
here working your tip up in your head. You're like, oh, dude, he's gonna fucking give me something for this,
Right.
dude. I'm helping him load so
Right.
much, bro. We're going up to a nice suite, bro.
But I'm
He's
gonna
chatting
say,
you up the whole
in the
time.
back of my mind, I'm gonna say, wow, maybe I should tell somebody what I just witnessed. I don't know, maybe not.
You get the fat tip, and I think it's a high chance that you're just like,
Oh, I hope
cool.
he comes back, and I can't wait to
yeah,
get another one.
You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Like,
Okay.
Or maybe the kid goes, "Damn, man, these are heavy. What's in them?" And then you hand him $100 bill.
right? Yeah, it's just, he don't give a fuck about what was in the bags anymore, dude.
You care what's
Maybe.
in them bags then?
He's
No,
like,
maybe
sweet, I just
not.
got my best tip for the night, or
I
whatever.
don't
Maybe
know.
I'm-
You think
Maybe
they
I'm a
would
young
ask
buck that
though?
doesn't really give two shits as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be
I
against.
feel like getting it past
protocol.
one bellboy, dude, that's possible.
What?
But like,
Let me
To
ask
for
you
ask
sure,
about
how are
what's
they
in
not
your
making
bag.
any noise or how are they not making any noise or anything?
When's the last timeline? If you keep this rolling, do they give you the last timeline
Yeah.
before the thing goes down?
He gives it to you all the way up to when this dude goes dark and locks the door.
Okay.
Because apparently they know when the door gets locked.
Okay.
So he has that. So from the time the door gets locked, then the other door gets locked, and then apparently that's like soon thereafter is when the reports of shots.
Yeah, I'd like to see the rest of
run
this.
it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how many total bags.
I think it's 21.
So 21 divided by 55 rifles, right?
No, 33 rifles.
33.
Yeah, remember, we
It's
gotta
at
have
least
like all
33.
the Illuminati 32, 33 Freemason numbers.
All right,
It's
hold
like-
on. Let's do some
it's very
calculations.
key here.
33. Yeah.
Let's do some
What was the
calculations.
room number? That's because I think that's what got me to
Wait,
the room
21
number.
bags, right?
I think it's 21. Let it roll.
The Vidya.
Let the video roll.
He gambles for 8 hours until morning. Paddock was a regular at the Mandalay, and several casino hosts knew him.
Everybody
Videos
knows.
show their interactions as being completely normal and in no way alarming. Remember, in 2 days,
'Cause he's a
Paddock has
stone
brought
cold
12
killer.
cases upstairs. He spends most of Wednesday in his room, and that evening repeats a similar pattern. He leaves the Mandalay, again carrying 2 suitcases. He stops at the Ogden and drives home to Mesquite. On Thursday, he buys a .308 bolt-action rifle from a gun store and visits a nearby gun range before driving back to the Mandalay. That night, he again uses the valet service and a bellman to carry a white container and 3 suitcases to his room. His arsenal of weapons is growing.
Totals up to 15 now.
Again, he gambles through the night. It's now Friday, and at 8 p.m., the Route 91 Harvest Festival will open in the fairgrounds across from the Mandalay. Paddock stays in his room until around 3 p.m. and
135,
uses his laptop
dude.
while the suite is cleaned.
Room
He
135.
checks into the adjoining room, 134, using the name of his girlfriend, Mary-Lou Danley. He also tells cleaning staff to leave behind the food service cart. 2 days later,
Part of
Paddock
his
would
plan.
use this and one other service cart to create a surveillance ring during his attack. Overnight, he makes a brief trip to Mesquite, arriving back at the Mandalay at 6 a.m. with 2 more suitcases. Soon after noon on Saturday, he places Do Not Disturb signs on both room doors. He declines housekeeping, he takes an elevator to the valet area and sits, waiting for his car. He carries 2 more bags to his room. He gambles some more, and that night he makes a final trip to Mesquite, returning to the Mandalay at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning. He gambles through the night in the high-limit slot area and returns to his room at 7:37 a.m. It's 12:16 p.m. when we see Paddock going back to the parking garage. The guests exiting the
So
elevator
he's had do
have
not
no
disturb
idea
signs
that
on
in
his
10
doors
hours,
for like
Yeah.
a whole day at this
Unremarkable-
point.
Yeah.
He's already
figure-
set up his carts. His surveillance is up. So his room is prepped at this point.
Yeah, he's ready to go. Now he's just
We're looking at
waiting.
the worst mass shooting in modern American history. He returns from his car, bringing 2 suitcases and a smaller bag inside. Since Monday,
But
he has brought at
pause.
least
So he left the
21
guns in his car that time, if we're assuming he's carrying in guns right now? Because he hasn't fucking left in a whole day.
I feel like this is
And
the
that
ammunition.
last
I
day
feel
that
like
he
this is
came
the
in, he-
ammunition.
He brought up, I don't know,
That white
fucking
box was the
3
ammunition.
separate trips.
cases,
So
2
weird how he
smaller
did
bags,
what he did with
a
the
laptop
bags.
bag,
Is he
and
just
a
trying to be
container to his
inconspicuous
room.
now?
See,
bringing
this is
in
the
less
last
bags
trip.
that
He's
time?
got the laptop bag. This is the last trip with the laptop bag and shit.
This is the last time we see Paddock, arriving at the 32nd floor.
30 seconds.
Through the day, he opens, closes, and locks both rooms repeatedly. At 36 minutes after 9, he locks the deadbolt to room 135
How do they know
for the
that?
last time.
I think the
4 minutes later,
lock
Jason
next to the
Aldean,
doorknob
who's
is like part of
headlining
that
the Route
electric
91
system.
festival, begins
so like
his
when you're
act.
swiping your key card or whatever.
Paddock
they know
then
if it's
turns
locked,
the
but
deadbolt to
deadbolt's
room
not
134.
connected to anything, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know.
I heard someone like going on about how the records showed that like staff had been using these fucking rooms beforehand as well, doing stuff.
And so he put this card out a day ago,
Yep.
and a staff member hasn't came up and grabbed
right,
any of
weird,
the stuff
right?
off of it.
Weird, right?
There's no way.
Yeah,
And it's
there's
just
no
covered
way.
with
There's-
fucking dishes
No,
and shit.
because this floor and that area, this is the suite. This is the top of the line here. I mean, he's damn near on the tippy top floor here.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a couple more floors above him, but he's on that suite side, bro. There's no way. There's no way they would let that cart sit with dirty dishes on it.
Right, and a camera sticking out underneath it.
Yeah.
They drilled hole. He drilled a hole in the door and mounted a camera on the door.
No, it was on the cart underneath the
No.
plate.
You'll see.
He's got 2 camera angles. I
Oh,
think.
Yeah, that door facing out. Yeah, he's got something on that door when you're coming up to it.
At 10:05, his shooting rampage begins. In under 10 minutes, he would kill 58 people and injure over 700 before taking his own
Pause
life.
it. Why would they say high capacity round, high capacity magazines? Why would they say that?
Only because they-
What's the difference between a 5.56 round and a high capacity round?
It just means it holds more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ammo. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay. No, I just want to
Yeah.
to get an understanding of what.
But
we're
it sounds
saying.
threatening.
It
Sounds
does.
threatening
A
and
high
dangerous.
capacity magazine.
So
I
there
could-
it's saying
like-
23 guns. So
Yeah, but I have video of FBI agent stating that they have record of him buying 33 guns.
The
Well,
number of guns
maybe.
has been weird too.
Legally.
maybe he had 33 guns, but they're saying it's not 33 there.
Okay.
Look how he has
So what am-
so a couple things right now I want to point out. Do you see over
You see his
there the
legs?
magazines are stacked?
Yes.
Why are they stacked there?
Right.
Where's
That's
the
the
window?
only sense of organization, right? And it's not even in a well selected place, but everything else is like scattered,
Why are these
scattered about.
Tell me something here. I mean, I'm just so he just shot each weapon, threw it down wherever he wanted to throw it,
But
and
swept
then-
up all the fucking casings away
Right,
from over here,
right.
from the broken window.
So here's another thing I want everybody to think about.
They're not by
I'm
the
getting
broken
ready
window.
to kill a whole bunch of people, but I go and I decide I'm going to go high stakes poker or whatever because I need that extra money when I know I'm just going to die. I mean, because that's what I do. You know, I go and make more money before I go and kill a bunch of people.
I guess you could say if he's an addict, though, he's just whatever, giving into his vice or whatever before he fucking leaves the earth.
But if I'm an addict, I'm in that hotel 24/7. I am not driving all the way back to Mesquite.
Very weird.
I'm not
The
going
whole
to be
fucking
going
driving
to,
back and forth is so
I'm not going to
odd.
go to Ogden. I mean, if I've got 23 weapons in there and I got them in my vehicle, let's say, and why did he go and buy another weapon? Well, 22 wasn't enough. We needed another one.
Well, he's like, you know, they're like, the CIA is like realizing, like, fuck, our Patsy's never even been to a gun range before. We have
Right.
to have him go buy a weapon
Right,
and go to a gun
exactly.
range right before
Exactly.
this. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, that shit's weird, man.
Dude, there's a lot of stuff in my brain that just does not add up.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like I've seen enough episodes of Snapped and shit to be like, people who
but did
go
you
on this kind of thing, like they're not thinking rationally at all. You know?
Yeah, but
That's why
he's
it's so
going
hard to
in and out of that
comprehend.
hotel like nobody's business. He's not like, he looks pretty well under control in my opinion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know.
Yeah, I didn't see the Great Depression that they were talking
Yeah,
about.
the
because
guy's
I see him
smiling
and
hanging out with the bellboy, going, "Hey man,
they
thanks
said,
a lot."
the-
I saw smiles. I mean,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
putting on a great
All right,
act.
let's let
the
this finish.
body
We're almost at the
language
end
is-
here.
He had amassed 23 guns and thousands of rounds of ammunition. Almost 6 months since the attack, Paddock's motive remains unknown.
FBI took the scene over real quick, and everything was wrapped up. man.
So
Nice
we
and easy.
got we got the
We'll never know.
we got the everybody if anybody's wanting to know how he had all those automatic rifles. They were originally semi-automatic rifles that shot one round, and then he apparently bought I guess a ton of what is referred to as a bump stock that allows your single fire weapon to have the stock bump and the stock moves so that it just keeps firing the bullet even though it's really just firing one bullet at a time.
John, do you
It's
remember at the
multiple.
time, was there any like gun legislation up in Congress? Or
No, but
White
after the
House?
fact, they did. They did.
And it was
put
on
this to
it was on
place.
bump stocks
Yeah.
and high capacity magazines.
And remember, I don't know if you remember this, but Hillary Clinton was pushing that really hard after the fact.
So
Hey,
I got
real quick. Remember, Stephen Paddock doesn't even go to the range hardly. He's never hardly spent any time around weapons, but he knew.
John, can I ask you a real quick?
He knew to get bump stocks so he could fire that many rounds. He
Right.
knew it.
Yeah, a weird modification. Dude.
Because he wouldn't have been able to do that with his finger. John, I was just curious to ask, for the folks at home who've never been to a range, really aren't gun people and don't care to be. I was just wondering if it's something that is takes a physical amount of stress to stand there and fire said weapon, let alone at a single shot to fire this weapon at automatic. If this is something that you don't do.
I would like to explain it for the people at home. When you first get around a weapon, you get there is this nervous tension feeling. Okay, so when I first joined the military, I had never spent hardly any time around a weapon. So when I first got out on a range and I was trying to qualify, I was nervous. I was really nervous. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how that weapon, especially since I had never fired an M16, because when I first joined, we still using the M16.
Now, is that a single shot?
It depends. I mean, at
burst fire?
weapons grade, we could have automatics.
Okay.
But they teach you, first of all, they teach you in the military, don't use automatics. Don't ever hardly put it on the automatic unless you have to, right? Because the automatic is going to shoot bursts and bursts and bursts of ammo. And depending on what kind of firefight you're in, you need to conserve your ammo.
Yeah.
Anybody in the military will tell you that
Every bullet counts.
you have no control over an automatic weapon, right? And if you're in a firefight and you don't know when you're going to get your next supply, you want to control that ammo amount that you have.
Makes sense.
For sure.
So this guy, with all the inexperience that he has, he knew how to feel with the weapons. He knew how to aim it down and shoot at people, and he had no problems knowing that his weapon was going down range and it could possibly kill someone. Dude, there's people that have been around weapons their whole lives that don't have that capability. So, I will tell people I've had to point my gun at another human being, and it's not a great feeling.
Yeah.
It's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
And so
Were you pointing one at someone and they were pointing one back?
you don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
because there was distance for me.
Okay. Yeah.
But even out on the range, and even when we would go do live fire, I mean, you get comfortable after a while. But we're talking about time and time and time and time.
Doing
of
drills.
and spending time with that weapon
Yeah.
and understanding it and getting to know what its capability is. Not a guy. I mean,
So I mean, but there's no
65 years
way
old.
that you're shooting 60 round clips, fully automatic, dumping the clip, and then reaching for
And
the
then
other one.
would you-
throwing a
and
gun and then picking up another gun
and dumping a clip.
Yeah.
And then
Would you
next.
say it's going to exert energy to have to hold
mean,
that gun and shoot that?
First of
over
all,
and
it's
over
going to
and over?
exert energy because your adrenaline's going to have you going nuts, right? Because good, bad, or indifferent, when you're shooting a weapon, it brings a lot of adrenaline out to you, right?
Yeah.
Even when you're shooting on the range and you know you got to shoot and try to hit something, there's still a lot of
Plus,
adrenaline.
you're squeezing the gun as tight
yeah.
and as hard as
Probably,
you can to your
especially
chest.
if you're completely inexperienced. Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna have the death grip on it, and you're not. If you don't have a lot of experience, you're not gonna be a great shot. You're just gonna be.
Can I ask
sporadic.
you this? Have you ever consistently shot a weapon for a matter of 10 minutes straight?
No.
And how physical?
No.
How
Listen, only the MARSOC guys, the special operators and stuff like that, they're the only ones that are ever. I mean, you can be an infantry guy, right, in a war, and you'd have to. But I mean, at the most on your person, you're probably holding maybe, if you're lucky, I think I've ever seen anybody maybe 12 magazines, and maybe they have 28 rounds each because there's a spring at the bottom of each magazine, and you can never put a full 30 rounds into it because it will push the spring to where the spring will not work properly. So they teach you never to put full 30 rounds in the magazine.
you put 28?
You put 28. 28, sometimes 29. But it's 28 because once you put the magazine in, you're going to load a unit up into the receiver, and then that's why you got 28, not 29.
Okay.
So, but you never fully load it because you're giving that magazine a chance to malfunction. So again, a lot of people don't know that, and when you put this out in front of people that have no experience, they're just going to go, "Oh, well, it has 60 rounds in it," and he was able to get them all off. I mean,
400 rounds, 60 a clip. How many?
Well, 400 wounded, or it was 800 wounded, only 400 by gunshots, and then 100 dead, or whatever it was, 60 dead.
58 dead. I thought, yeah.
58
Yeah,
dead.
but how could 58 be dead?
So it was like
800 wounded, but only 400.
Well,
rounds.
in the mass chaos, everyone
Said some people got wounded just because of
they got
the
trampled
rampage and all
or
that.
whatever
Jesus.
happened. Yeah.
Jeez Louise. Man.
So I think we should take a few minutes and explain what our theories are. I mean, if you guys want, I can start if you want.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean,
I also want to go more on.
I don't really have a theory. It goes cold because none of it makes sense. I just get all of these feelings that are just weird about the whole thing. Like his age, him running back from window to window, just dumping. Like, I mean, I feel like that's a physical feat, and that's something that you would have to be training to do. I mean, maybe somebody 65, an average Joe, could just get up there one day because he was pissed off. And
If there were
it.
people
but if it
up
wasn't
there with
him,
him,
like what's the
motive?
point?
There is
Yeah.
none.
Okay,
There is
so
no
I would
Here we
like to
go.
throw a theory out there, if I may. Back in 2017 and even parts of 2018, I started doing a little more research on this because this is where I woke up and started to see things a little bit different than your normal day life. We like to call people out there sheep sometimes, and I will define that. That's people that just go with the flow, don't think outside the box. They basically listen to their news, and they just go ahead and say, well, everything that's coming out of the news is gospel, right? And I was a sheep. I was a sheep for a long time. Even joining the military and even serving for 20 years, I was a sheep, okay? In 2017, when this went down, I used my military experience to kind of look at this and say, whoa, this just does not add up, okay? Because in a firefight, you can say, man, sometimes people don't even get that many rounds off in a firefight, right? So this guy in 10 minutes got off a lot of rounds, which I'm not saying it's not possible, but I am just telling you that he was one guy. He had to bounce from room to room. He had to make sure that he had everything lined up the way he did. And there's just a whole bunch of weapons in this room bounced all over the place, thrown all over the place, that if I'm shooting the weapon, if it runs out of ammo, I'm throwing it down right next to the window and I'm picking up another weapon. and I'm shooting that weapon, and then I'm throwing it down next to the window, and I'm picking up another weapon.
Right.
Okay? I'm not throwing it. I mean, I guess if he's running from room to room, he could throw it from here to throw it from there to get ready, but it still don't make sense. Why carry the damn weapon all the way through the room?
He set up a fucking surveillance network, bro, but he can't fucking stack the guns next to the window.
Right.
Very weird.
Tell me something. Why would I carry a weapon from one room to another and throw it out in the middle of the damn room?
The cart that they found the laptop on wasn't even in next to the window. So how was he looking at it?
Right.
If it wasn't even near the window when the two windows is where he was at shooting.
Yeah, the cart was next to the second door in room 134. He couldn't even see it.
And 134 was the second room that he got to block his room. Yeah. Yeah.
So people,
it's a completely another room.
If you go and do some research, I'm going to give you a theory that I'm going to ask that if you are interested, that you go ahead and try to do some research on your own. Now, I did a little bit of searching around because, again, I wanted to figure out if there was another way that there could be a motive. One of the things, and I don't have this information on where I found it in front of me, but I will tell everyone that if you dive deep enough, you might find this information. There was a high-value target in another hotel, and somewhere in one of these documentations or one of these videos, they talk about how it took Las Vegas police a really long time to respond to this, 10 minutes or so. And on one of the dispatches, they talk about a high-value target, right? HVT, or I forgot exactly how they defined it, but I said, whoa, okay. Because they even talk about another shooting somewhere in another hotel, all right? Again, there's stuff out there. Do your research and look for it.
I've heard the 911 calls of people reporting the other one.
Right. So I dived in and found out that the prince of Saudi Arabia, that now is basically the king, the acting king, he was in Vegas at the same time. On top of that, I had also read that Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner, her husband, were there with the prince. Okay? So I start trying to line this up. Was the prince, was Ivanka Trump, was Jared Kushner going to that concert? And did he scope out both concerts to try to figure out if it would be feasible that those high-value targets would want to go to the other one, vice this one? Mm. Did he decide, well, no, I think they're probably going to go to this? Or he got information well enough in advance to think about, well, I think they're going to go to the Route 91 Harvest Fest? Okay. So my question to you out there is, if you go and do the research and when you find out that this is a high-value target that was actually going to go to one of these festivals, does it make more sense that this would actually go down because they were trying to take out one of those three high-value targets?
I mean, that's definitely a large possibility. You know what I mean?
What happened after this? Do you guys know what happened in Saudi Arabia?
No.
So the prince goes back to Saudi Arabia, and he pretty much takes out all of his family. Like, all of his family, all these people. It's like 300 people he locks up. He locks up or gets rid of or even has them killed.
Wow.
I know. And out of the blue, people were like, why did he do that? And, so the biggest thing was, he wanted to make sure he had full-blown power, and he wanted to control everything, right?
Yeah.
Power.
Or did he go take him out because he found out other people were trying to get him killed?
The plot thickens. Wow.
And they used this festival as the avenue of approach to take him out.
Who, though?
That's the big story. Who? Was it other Saudis? Was it the CIA? Was it somebody? Because guess who got elected president that year? Donald Trump.
Did he really?
Yeah, in January of 2017, he became president of the United States. So my other question for everybody is, was Ivanka Trump the target?
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, I mean, my findings, I don't have any of that. I can't find out why he did it.
You got to go through back channels.
This is
There's
just
stuff
the
out
other
there.
the
This
other
is just-
stuff that we don't really hear about often is the helicopters.
Yeah, I mean, I also haven't been. I'm not saying it's not true. I just haven't been able to see it anywhere else on any other footage. Like me knowing that, seeing that one video and seeing the spots and where and when they had the flashes, and looking at the footage. I mean, a lot of it is just. It's moving so quickly. It's really hard to tell.
We didn't even play any of the like the actual gunfire as well, because but once you listen to some of that gunfire, man, it's like it really
crazy.
doesn't sound like that much of an echo, and it sounds like there's
Chris,
multiple shooters.
you got that one shot where we.
I just ask that the audience do a little bit of research if they want to go out there and just start trying to put these pieces together. You will be surprised at what doesn't add up versus what does.
Also, like look at the windows. Can you see the broken glass on any of these windows right now? On any of this footage?
Let it run.
You hear that echo?
It just sounds like more than one gun.
It's because it's echoing off the windows.
So
But
you don't think that's multiple?
But
you just
it's
think that's
definitely a
shooting?
possibility that there's more than one gun.
Right? It's just too hard to tell because the echo
Chris, can you
is a plausible
rewind like 2 seconds and then play it slowly?
I don't know how to do that.
Go to this cogwheel. Playback
And then
speed,
playback speed's like
0.5 or 0.25.
yeah, just see if we can get. Play it even slower than that, Chris. Go back and play it slower, Chris. Go back just a little bit. Pause it. Pause it. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah. Dead the sound, Chris. I'm just trying to look for a flash on the building.
That's the other thing is there's no muzzle flashes or any of that, right? Over at the hotel that everyone's talking about. And on any of the guns, did you see like a compensator or some type of flash hider or something on it that
No,
would?
but the AR-15 comes with like a suppressor built into it. It's hollow on both sides.
Okay, and so that could kind of
Well,
hide the flash.
no, it
or
wouldn't
help dissipate the flash.
I mean,
right here. See
you're still gonna have some kind of flash.
Right here. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Keep looking. Not high enough. Here it is. Here it is.
That's it right
there it
there.
is. Right there.
That's it right there. We'd be seeing shots shooting from there.
What is that?
There's nothing. It don't even look like broken glass, or I mean, it's a shitty quality video, but
I mean, it's pretty good considering the moment in which it's happening.
yeah, I guess I'm like it's a little like pixelated, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's not like the most.
No, I don't feel you, but I mean, it's pretty good in terms of
It's right in the action.
right
It's
there.
right
look,
in the fucking
right
action.
there. And I bet you he's recording and doesn't even know he's
Yeah.
shining
it's-
right on
Yeah.
the potential danger.
It's possible that the frame rate or the lens rate for the
Camera
video
is-
isn't fast enough to catch the.
The flash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just because we're watching it in slow mo doesn't mean it was like
Frame,
Yeah,
frame,
no, I
frame,
feel you.
frame.
Yeah, it could have just missed the frame.
right.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, this is just some of the footage that they had from people and their cell phones.
Crazy.
It really
wild.
is.
I'll
really-
throw another theory out there. If you guys knew of a guy who went to the same casino over and over constantly, played high roller and was a fixture there, and you knew he wasn't really married, didn't have a bunch of kids, and you knew that maybe he had a girlfriend, but his girlfriend was from the Philippines and stuff, and let's just say, well, I scoped this out for weeks on end, and I see, man, this guy, Stephen Paddock, I mean, he used to work for the government, but he doesn't really have a lot of ties. He's a high-risk gambler, and, he's in this casino, and this is the perfect casino for this Route 91 Harvest Fest. So I do a bunch of research, and I say, okay, I've got my mark. My mark is Stephen Paddock, right? So I'm going to start working on him, and I'm going to start working on his mind. And then before you know it, he's the guy that I decided to go with. Who did he meet at the Ogden Hotel? Who was he meeting in Mesquite? Who was he talking to? I mean, why did he need all these rooms? Was there other people in the Ogden Hotel that he was meeting and getting his walking orders, getting his marching orders? Did he have everything that he needed based off somebody else giving him the advice? Do you think he's smart enough to know to put the camera in the hallway? Maybe someone that had.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that was a pretty sophisticated.
I mean,
move.
and then he knew to put a
Some good
camera on the door. I mean, he's a gambler. He's an accountant, and he worked for the. I mean, well, hell, he worked for the IRS. I mean, who knows?
Like, that's some like Ocean's 11. You know, like, oh, we have this to cover this end, to cover this, to cover this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but all those hallways got cameras. That's the other thing I don't get. You know, I mean, if he's drilling into the door and stuff, and he's putting a camera in there. How did they not?
The cart staying there for multiple hours in a day.
Yeah, where's the GM at? Where's the GM? Not
making their rounds,
Yeah.
making sure everything's
Where's
taken
the
care of.
security?
maintenance guy goes up the stairway, realizes that stairway is jammed with like some L bracket, right? And just calls engineering, right? And then like comes up and starts taking fire, right? And then he's there long enough by himself that the fucking engineer who was called in for the L bracket shows up. So it's just two of them in the hallway before the fucking police are there, and the massacre is going on, and
They don't hear the shots.
the hotel security's not even there yet.
Yeah, it's just so many things.
I think
And the motive itself. I mean, people.
How about
come on.
MBA?
There's
How about
people
MGM?
shooting from those fucking helicopters.
How about
There's people shooting from a roof or something. I don't think they're in the room with them.
How about MGM Grand
I think
suing?
he's already dead before
How
it
about-
even goes down. In
How
my
about
opinion.
MGM Grand suing the people who were being shot upon?
Unreal. Yeah.
Yeah, the MGM Grand sued the people who were being shot upon
Well, yeah, they
because
ruined their
they stated that they paid security to that was prepared for terrorist attacks. So they were they sued these people, and then they asked MGM Grand about it, and they were like, we weren't trying to offend anyone. It's just it's a legal tactic. Those were his exact words. It was a legal tactic.
I will just tell all the people that are listening that even if you don't come up with the same conclusions that we do your research on this. If you've blown it off in the past, or you just didn't dive deep into it, and come up with your own conclusion. I promise you, there's going to be plenty of stuff that just don't add up.
That's the
Use your own
easiest part of
discernment.
this.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't add up.
Yeah.
None of it does. There's got to be an ulterior motive. And I believe Stephen Paddock is the scapegoat for the ulterior motive.
One that's been well hidden.
MK Ultra.
Kept hidden really well.
All right.
Anyone else? Final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Shout out some supporters.
Oh, yeah. It's Cora, right?
Yep.
Cora, thank you so much for subscribing. We appreciate that. We saw that.
Appreciate you so much. Thank
We
you,
like
Cora.
your comments. You guys have some good ones.
Yeah, keep
And-
commenting on our videos.
And even the bad ones are fun. So
Yes,
thank you.
We love all the comments. Thank
That's
you,
right.
everyone.
Right. Keep them coming.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
Shout out your, give us timestamps of your favorite moments, too, because we like going and checking
Yeah,
those as
and
well.
and if we were a little loud and we scared you, hey,
I
stick with
apologize.
us. Stick
Yeah.
with us. We get excited ourselves.
Chris is the quiet one.
Shit, I was gonna say, I feel like we should do an episode where we like go through all the polls one day, you know, like end of the year or something.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt, yeah.
That'd be cool.
That'd be dope.
Or we do a best stories of the year.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that, man.
Most clicked episode.
Hmm.
Yeah. I bet.
Well, also, I'd like to add if anybody out there would like for us to go over a topic that they
Yeah.
might be interested
Yeah,
in,
please.
please give us the feedback, and we will do our due diligence and
Yeah.
do
Let
some
us-
research on it and do a podcast on it.
Let us see if we come up with what you came up with.
That's awesome. We did one on that.
Yeah, we did do one. We haven't
Alright.
gotten any more, man. Hit us up with some more. Hit us up with some topics. Let's go.
Appreciate y'all. Thanks. We'll catch you on the next one.
Oh yeah.
Peace.
Deuces.
This is the Conspiracy Commission Podcast. Whoa.
So,